I know a lot of y'all are probably getting ready to go to a Super Bowl party and the host or hostess has asked you to bring something with you. I have got the perfect recipe for you to take with ham sandwiches and Swiss cheese. I guarantee you, no matter who wins, you will be the star of the party with these sandwiches. Super Bowl is on the horizon, and I know what that means. A lot of y'all are getting together to have parties in order to watch the games, fight with other people that are against your team, and have a celebration. And today I thought I would show y'all a quick and easy ham sandwich recipe that has a little twist to it that is so simple, and you can take it, and I guarantee you everyone will love you and want the recipe. It's in the Four Seasons cookbook. On page 206, it came from a friend of mine named Tracy Freeman, who used to bring them anytime we would have something like that or gathering at our house. She would bring them, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So they're simple, and you can. This is the kind of recipe that you don't have to let it be totally, by the book. I'm always saying that so many of y'all want to be like chemist cooks with everything. It's perfect. I was behind the line of somebody at the grocery store the other day, and some lady, a friend of hers, saw her, and she was asking her about a certain recipe she made, and the lady said, well, I just don't really have a recipe. I just sort of put this in it, put that in it, put this in it. And I got the different impression the woman did have the recipe, but wasn't willing to share. But that's not the case with me. You can have the regular recipe, and we'll kind of follow it, but I just halved it, because if you were taking some to a party, you'd want to do the whole thing, but today to show you, I'm just going to do half. And then I got half in the oven, so we can kind of see what a whole thing will look like. Now, any kind of dinner rolls, it calls for 2 packages. Again, when I say 2 packages, I'm talking about the entire recipe. 2 packages of dinner rolls, and I got the King's Hawaiian. I don't know if y'all have ever tried those, but Liz, do you like those? They're very, very moist and good. And so you just split each one of those in half. Oh, I gotta tell you this. I've had a whole year or half a year, 6 months of being on anticoagulants or blood thinners because I had still have one blood clot, but I had blood clots, so I've had to be very careful. Could not ride my bike outside, had to spin, could not, had to be careful around scissors and knives, which is something I use just about daily. My birthday was, right before Christmas. Guess what my wife gives me? You're going to have to zoom in on this, Liz. A whole brand new spanking set of knives. I look at you and ask, what is that supposed to say to me? My husband's on anticoagulants. What can I give him for his birthday? I think I'll just give him a pack of knives. Okay, so I'm trying to be careful.
It could be that she just loves you so much because sharper knives are safer than duller knives. You're much more likely to get injured with a dull knife.
I covered that in my mind, and then I remember that time I almost cut my finger off on live TV, and I thought it was a brand new knife, and it does cut to the bone. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to cut these rolls in half. You can use any kind of little dinner roll that's already cooked. I mean, it doesn't need to be, something you've got to cook. It just needs to be a dinner roll like this. They come in all shapes and sizes. Any of that kind of stuff you can vary with this recipe. Something of your choice, something you like better. It's perfectly fine. It's not going to be right or wrong. It's just going to be good, period. So after you do that, you get Swiss cheese. Now this is Swiss cheese that comes in those slices that are already sliced. And I like that because I like to put some on top and some on bottom, so I just have cut those into approximately the size that would fit inside of my roll. And then I want to show y'all this. Everybody's so on the kick about no antibiotics and everything. They've come out with a new brand called Simple Truths. This is uncured Black Forest ham. Of course, it's sliced very thinly, but I thought that was cool that it didn't have any antibiotics. We are putting a stick of butter in this, but we really don't need to. We don't want any antibiotics for sure. Alright, so I'm going to cut this the same way and just cut off some of these. Now some of these I just actually use all these little pieces because that would probably be a really good one if you kind of like shaved, put that on one thing with a whole bunch of shaved pieces. But we're just going to cut it like that. Oh, I'm being careful. Okay. Before you begin all that, this is the secret sauce. People are always saying whether they're doing barbecue or whatever, they have a secret sauce. Here's your secret sauce. In this is a stick of butter. Now, if you're making the entire recipe, it would call for 2 sticks, but again, this is half the amount. 1 stick of butter. I know that's terrible. I know we're all watching our weight in January. I know, but it is the Super Bowl. So I'm thinking, maybe that will let it go. 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Did I say that right? I love that word. Worcestershire sauce. How do you say it, Liz?
Worcestershire?
Well, I can't say it. It'll get confused. I'll just show it. It's one of my favorite
Lee and Perrins.
things.
Let's just say Lee and Perrins.
It's one of my favorite things when we were little and raised without any money. My mother used to take regular ground beef and mix it into, make little hamburger, just regular hamburger patties. But to dress it up, she would get one of those iron black skillets, put it on top of the stove, put her half a stick of butter and some of, Lee and Perrins. Is that right, Perrins? And then, get that all kind of like what we did with this, kind of get it kind of marinate and then fry the hamburgers. And then you talk about a kitchen smelling good. It even smells good in here, doesn't it, Liz? So you put 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. You put, it's 1 stick of butter. You put 1 tablespoon of mustard. Now you don't have to get any fancy kind of mustard because this is so dialed up. You can just use regular French's. And 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So that is what we have. It's kind of a thick, buttery, kind of a caramelized. It kind of caramelizes it. You need to melt it on low heat on the top of your stove, and then wait till it comes to a full boil. It's not like you're trying to boil it to make it into icing or something, but you do want that brown sugar to dissolve. Now, once you do that, you're ready for assembly. Now, if I was taking this to somebody's house, I'd probably use something like this. You could use a pan. What you're going to end up doing is covering it with tin foil and putting it in the oven on 350 for about 10 minutes. All you're doing is trying to warm up the bread, melt the cheese, and let the special sauce soak into everything. So I'm just going to line these. I always like the top that goes with it. I don't want any mixed up shapes in here, so I kind of stand it to the side like that. You can do as you wish. I just want the right top to go with the right bottom. It makes for a prettier presentation. Liz is laughing. It makes for a prettier presentation. Although when you take these into the Super Bowl party, I'm sure no one will care. They will just grab a handful of them and start eating. It won't matter. It kind of looks like a little miniature crystal, doesn't it? Like a little hamburger. But it's definitely not going to be a hamburger. Okay. I put a little drop of the salt, the special sauce, onto the bottom of my bread. It doesn't really say to do that, but I like for it to totally be saturated. So all I'm going to do is just take my spoon, make sure we stir all this up, and we're just going to drizzle. You don't have to be careful because we're going to end up putting some of this on top of all of it, so it's not like you're trying to save the bottom of the pan or anything like that. That's part of this whole recipe, is that it kind of marinates and warms up and bakes together and turns into something fabulous. Now once we've done that, I told you can just do this if you know, just like the night before and let it marinate. I like to put, so like I said, 2 pieces of cheese, so I'm going to put like 1 thing at the bottom. Let me just get a, this is Swiss. You can use provolone, you can use any kind of cheese that you really like, but we're using Swiss today with the holes. And we're just putting that, see how easy this production is once you get everything done, get all your tops ready, all your bottoms ready, and just start, get your, cut successfully without cutting your hand off. Then you are just ready to put this together. And this is really all there is to it. The only thing that's left now is to put it in the oven and warm it. Now, if you were taking it to somebody's house, you may want to wait and just take it, like I'm sending some home with you today, Liz. So I'm going to send these with you. So you will probably just want to take these home like they are, and then warm them up before you eat. But they are good even cold. So here's our ham. We're going to put some slices on each piece. And see how perfectly those squares kind of line up? That's that's the artist in me. If you cut it like that, it will definitely make for a prettier presentation. As you know, we're going to have the tops that match, so we definitely want our ham to be pretty as well. There's a hole, Liz. That's what tells us that's Swiss, right?
It does.
I used to be amazed by that as a child. How did that cheese get those holes in it? Do you know?
Maybe gas?
Ooh, could be. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to wait and Google. You'll have to let me know. Liz, I'm putting you in charge. You need to report back to me about what it is. Okay. And since these are going to Liz and her sweet family, I'm putting extra ham. You got supper already done, Liz. What can you say?
Thank you.
All right, then we're going to go back and put a little piece of cheese on top because we want to stick all this together. This one's really got some gas. So lots of holes. And we're ready to go. Well, my son loves these, and he requested we have some at Christmas, and we got the ingredients and stuff, but we never got a chance to make them while he was here. You know what a blur that is. And then when you got back to Atlanta, it was like, oh my God, we forgot to make the little ham sandwiches. Okay, now we're going back to our special sauce. We're going to just drizzle a little bit more on the top of all of that we just stacked. It's basically like making a miniature glorified ham sandwich with some sauce that somebody will not reckon. I mean, they'll just think, what in the world is that? It's so good. Okay, now we've got to put our tops with the appropriate bottoms so that we can line these up. Liz, I'm even sending you home a piece of my good green stuff. Liz is always good to return things. That's what I like about Liz. You know, sometimes I know all of y'all know people that you loan things to, and then receive the stuff. Not Liz, I'll flat call her out, but I don't even have to because she brings it right back. Or if not, if I'm next time at her house, I will see it and go, that looks like my green. Now with the rest of this, you're going to I just do a big old dollop over each sandwich. And see, that's what I mean about not worrying about it drizzling down in there because it's going to. We're just going to. It smells good, doesn't it, Liz?
It does.
And so we still got a little bit more, so Liz, and then we're going to get more drizzle. And then the final thing you do before you put the I hope you like poppy seeds. You just got some. I took the whole top off. Don't have a drug test anytime soon.
I was gonna say.
That one will definitely get you in trouble.
There's my evidence.
That's right. Okay, anyhow, you're supposed to sprinkle, not dump. Just a little touch of poppy seeds. They kind of stick into that glaze. Ooh, that's actually pretty though. I have seen bread that has that much on it. We're going to cover this with tinfoil, put it in the oven, and I'm going to show you in just a second how these melted cheese ham sandwiches come out. Liz, you got supper ready. Before I unveil our beautiful melted cheese and warmed up ham sandwiches that we put in the oven on 350 degrees for approximately 10 to 15 minutes, basically just to warm up everything and get that sauce all soaked in, I did want to tell you that Liz did Google about why Swiss cheese has holes, and she found out that it's because it has gaseous bacteria. So there, Liz, you get the award. And if anybody asks you on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you can flat say, it's from some gas. That's why they have holes. Okay, let's take a peek at this. Still hot. Ooh, you can tell it's melted. Look, they have slid over. Ooh, and see how that gets kind of gummy down in there? Perfect. So I did this in just a clear Pyrex dish to show you that if you were, the good thing about this is if you were taking it to somebody's house, then you're probably going to have to warm it when you get there for the party. So why not leave it in this, leave the same tinfoil on it, and then that way you don't have to like put it on a tray, because if you put it on a tray, then you're going to have to go back and get the, take it from there for the tray, this back and forth. So I think it's pretty, just try to find your best looking one of these, and see, this one's even pretty, but you would just keep in mind it will be 2 times this much if you do the whole recipe. So if you're doing this at home, you're not taking it to a party, and you just want some for your family, you might just want to half it, which is what we did. And so you just could serve this. And I guarantee you, people are going to love it. I can tell you for years at our Halloween party we served these, and everybody had a fit. Okay, the game's coming up. I don't know who's going to win, but you will definitely win with these ham sandwiches. They're quick, they're easy, it's just the perfect thing to take. I'm giving you the recipe. It's also in that book. Go out and create something fabulous for Super Bowl Sunday. See you next time.